Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Sack here. This prior weekend, a story slipped through the mainstream media quietly. Out here on YouTube, I haven't seen any other truth channels talking about this story, but I want to bring it back for anyone who missed it. This story connects to the shooting of police officers in Hattiesburg, Mississippi on May 9th, 2015. In this story that passed by this weekend, one of the accused shooters was found dead in his jail cell. They haven't put out any details of why he was found dead, but they're just saying he was found dead in his jail cell. We're going to watch the mainstream coverage. First, I want to go back and remind you about the video I did May 9th. On May 9th, or actually May 10th, the day after the shooting, I put out this video. At the time, it was the most trolled I had ever been for putting out a video, and I think why is because I broke new ground in this research at the time. I had seen enough examples at this point to make some definitive conclusions. In this video, if you have not seen it, and I recommend you go back and watch it, I talk about how Hattiesburg, Mississippi seems to be a highly Masonic town, possibly under complete control by the Freemasons, including the police department. And I theorize in this video that these towns that have the highly Masonic influence are the ones that bombard us the most with these propaganda-based stories. And in recent times, we've been getting a lot about police officer shootings. In this story, the matter of race was also evoked. I want to show you something, Truth Seeker. This shooting happened on May 9th, 5/9. The word kill in Jewish gematria sums to 59. This is also a number that's negatively stamped on black Americans. In this story, 4 black Americans were arrested and blamed. Notice that slave equals 59, Negro equals 59, blues equals 59. Another word often substituted for a derogatory term about black people, tiger, has a gematria of 59. Tiger Woods in history had his worst career performance this year on May 9th, the day of this shooting, 5'9". Now here's another word you need to see, Truth Seeker. This is another number negatively stamped on black Americans, number 42, and look at what word it represents, nigger, the most hateful. The way this word breaks down ends the 14th letter. 1 plus 4 becomes 5. I's the ninth. It has a 5-9 coding inside at the beginning and the end. E's the 5th letter. R's the 18th. 1 plus 8 becomes 9. 42 with a 5-9 coding inside. In this story, these numbers are going to be important and more. So I want to prep you with that understanding. This is called gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Pretty much every story you get in the mainstream media involving the police and shootings is highly coded with gematria. I just did a video on the death of Nicholas Robertson this weekend. In case you're new here and you've never seen my work, please check out this video next. It's more important than the one you're watching right now. Right here, Truth Seeker. Nicholas Robertson shot 33 times, December 12th, 2015, the day after this story. Please check that out next. Anyhow, let's move on with breaking down this one. We'll start with the mainstream coverage.
Curtis, did you do it? No, sir, I didn't do it. Asserting his innocence while being hauled into the police station. 26-year-old Curtis Banks, one of the now 4 suspects in custody this morning, 2 of them facing capital murder charges in connection with the shooting death of 2 police officers in southern Mississippi.
You know, never want this to happen. The men and women who go out every day to protect us, the men and women who go out every day to make sure that we're safe.
34-year-old officer Benjamin Dean and 24-year-old LaQuarrie Tate were shot and killed after a traffic stop ended in a hail of gunfire Saturday night. Police say Curtis and his brother Marvin fled the crime scene, allegedly stealing a police cruiser and using it as a getaway car. Authorities have divulged little else about the timeline of events and any suspected motive, only saying Officer Dean initiated the traffic stop, called for backup, and that Officer Tate responded to the call. Dean was a seasoned officer who won Officer of the Year in 2012 for his department. The other, a rookie who joined the force in June of last year.
This is my baby.
I know.
This is my baby. And that's all I see, my baby.
In an emotional interview with CNN, Tate's father, Ronald, says his son, quote, loved everyone and had a passion.
Truth Seeker, notice how this same image of just the officer is the same one they just photoshopped him with a father. Why would they have to do that if this was a real story? Why would they have to get a photoshopped image of the father? These are the questions everyone should ask themselves.
For policing.
He was a guy who was willing to put the risk out there, put his life out there to risk, and he really knew the risk.
And Truth Seeker, in the older video I did, I have this full interview as part of it. The father refers to his son as a sacrifice multiple times, a curious word to use the day after the shooting. CNN had this guy on for a very long interview the day after he was shot. No even time to grieve. And he tells the whole story with very little emotion. Also, he tells a lot about how his son was really obsessed with cars, but doesn't really talk much about policing at all.
But he thought, I think my son just thought, people are generally good. And that's just the way he was. He thought people are generally good people. So let's treat them all with dignity.
Yeah, they usually are, unless they're police officers or news anchors. Okay, so let's go through this story. They said there were 4 suspects. They showed us in the baby blue t-shirt Curtis Banks, the brother of Marvin Banks. It's Marvin Banks who was found dead in his jail cell December 11th. The name Marvin Banks is most interesting for the initials. M is the 13th letter, 1 plus 3 becomes 4, B is the second. MB breaks down to 4-2. Think about Michael Brown. MB, Ferguson and Missouri have that gematria of 42. The officer who shot Michael Brown was shown in a Blues t-shirt with the number 42 on it. Remember, Blues equals 59. Also, Marvin in simple English gematria sums to 77, like police officer, like police department, a number we see a lot around these hoaxes. 47, a favorite number of the Zionists and Masons. Hattiesburg is a town of 47,000 people. The police officers killed were Officer Benjamin Dean and LaCorey Tate. Look at the gematria here, 96 and 147. Police equals 147, Freemason equals 96. We've seen a lot of stories this year of dead officers with 147 name gematria, including Joe Gliniewicz, who there was a manhunt for his killers before the next day they said, oh, never mind, it was a suicide. Please check out those videos, Truth Seeker. More to it than that. His brother, Curtis Banks, his name sums to 137, which is interesting. That's the 33rd prime number. 33 often coded into the hoaxes. The word police equals 33. The name Cornelius Clark, CC 33. Notice that the name has gematria of 62 like Mason. On our calendar, 3-3, March 3rd, the anniversary date of the beating of Rodney King, that's the 62nd day of the year. No coincidence, because not only do the Freemasons control our news and police departments, they're the people who've built this nation, our calendar, our language, and more. If you look at the gematria or the definition of gematria, it has to do with coding words into language, and it also has to do with the calendar. All these things link up. Other interesting name gematria, but I don't want to get bogged down with all the numbers. NBC's article on the death of the brother, interesting that it came out on December 12th at 1:44 in the morning. These are special numbers. 12 times 12 is 144. 144 is a number connected to 666. In the end, I'll talk to you about the significance of 666 and the death of Marvin Banks. Pronounced dead at 7:40, Truth Seeker. The word Masonic equals 74. The reflection of 47. 8:40 Eastern Time. They probably bring that up because they said this was the first police officer killing since 1984, which we'll talk more about, in Hattiesburg. Notice also the department that declared him dead, the Forest County Sheriff's Office. I don't know why it was them making the call. I don't know why he'd be stationed there. Anyhow, name gematria of 144. This story comes out December 12th, NBC, 1:44 in the morning. Not a coincidence. The date he died on had numerology of 38. The word death equals 38. Forest, gematria of 38. Story of him being dead in the cell. Also, a point about the gematria of 153 as well. This is a number that's often coded with 42 in the Bible. There's a miraculous catch of 153 fish. Fish equals 42. Miraculous equals 42. It's one that gets coded on black Americans, too. Right now, the Attorney General for Obama is Loretta Lynch. Her name sums to 153. She's born in the year 59. More to it than that, but those numbers showing up again and again. Here's the numerology for the date he died. Truth Seeker in his cell, December 11th, 2015. A date with 58 numerology like Freemasonry, like Hattiesburg. Also, again, a date with 38 numerology like Forest, like Death. So, the day he supposedly shot the officer, May 9th, to the date he was found dead, December 11th, is a span of 216 days. 6 times 6 times 6 equals 216. This is a backhanded way of getting to 666. As for 144, I'll show it to you this way, Truth Seeker. Mark of the beast is a phrase often used to reference 666. Notice it sums to 144. If you count the first 144 decimal points of pi, it sums to 666. Since it's in the season, Truth Seeker, this is no coincidence either. Santa Claus has an English gematria of 666. Easter Bunny, can you guess it? 144. These numbers very much have a relationship. They are coded into things that are wrong, such as killing people in their jail cells, also such as tricking children into spiritual practices through bribery of candy and toys and presents.